But we're going to take a look at some of those reports that are available in K-Ready. So data managers have access to a couple reports, and these reports can help you kind of monitor teachers' completion of the early learning assessment. And you would access those reports by logging into K-Ready. And in a few minutes, I'm going to log into the system and show you some of these reports. So you would log in and you would click on the administration tab. Once you've clicked on the administration tab, you have access to all admin functionality. Note, you only have the administration tab if you are the data manager or if the data manager has added you as a location administrator. Once you're on the administration tab, you'll click on reports, and then in the reports feature, there's a drop-down box. On that drop-down box, you're going to select what says ELA SKB ratings report. And in that, when you click on that report, it will actually show you two different reports. First, I'm going to talk briefly about these reports, and then I'm going to go to the live K-Ready system and show you those reports. So the SKB report, SKB, remember, stands for Skills, Knowledge, and Behavior. So the SKB report, if you generate that, it's actually going to show you every SKB in the full early learning assessment, which is 72. Now, again, these are CSV or Excel files, so you can always manipulate them as you need to for your program. But if you generate that report, you might see data in all 72 SKBs, or you might just see data in the SKBs that are associated with the 10 learning progressions. And remember, there are 24 SKBs required in that group of 10. So that SKB report is helpful, but it could also be deceiving if you see a lot of blank scores, unless you're using it for the full assessment and you're entering data on all of those. Okay, so that could be helpful to you, but what you will definitely want to use is the LP report, or the learning progression report. And this is the report that actually gets submitted into EMIS or EAS. That report shows the learning progression rating for the required 10. And that report is based on what has been entered for those 24 SKBs. Again, if any scores are missing, we would encourage data managers to communicate with the teacher associated with the specific student, possibly providing any support necessary. And remember, if teachers need more time to enter ratings based on evidence of student growth and development, please determine those timelines locally. So although the assessment window ends tomorrow, November 14th, you might have some local timelines that allows the teachers to review their evidence and enter ratings at a later date, just so that you have the data in time to report to EAS or EMIS. Sometimes when you have a report of an N, that means that the teacher either was not able to see something, maybe the child had some medical issues, or even sometimes children start in a program and then leave in a program, but you still have to report data. In other cases, it might be because the child is not yet at the lowest rating within that progression. So if a teacher has selected N in the bridge form, or in the K-Ready system, there's actually an option for N or NE, and those are decisions that the teacher makes. N means not scorable. NE in the K-Ready system means not yet evident. So the child is not able to do it today, but they might be able to do it after some support and guidance. They might, they're not there yet, but they will be. Again, those are decisions that the teacher makes. But either way, if an N or NE is given for an SKB within a learning progression, that learning progression rolls up to an N, okay? If you want to talk about that in more detail, please reach out to our office. We'll be happy to go over that with you. However, when you report this data to EMIS or EAS, you have to enter a reason code. So anytime a learning progression has a score of N, there is a list of allowable reason codes. There's an explanation of what those reason codes mean, and they can be found in the EMIS manual. They can also be found in the EAS manual that the ECE team has for entering ELA ratings into EAS. Now, if your program is going to be submitting scores, you might want to take a look at those reason codes before you start reporting so that you know what they mean, because there's reason codes for EAS and there's reason codes for EMIS. You'll notice there is not an extra column in the bridge form, and there's no extra report feature in the K-Ready system for teachers to document those reason codes. And we ask that you do not alter those documents, because when you report them, it could end up in inaccurate reporting. So you would need to develop some sort of internal communication process to make sure that the people who are entering the ratings in EMIS and EAS know why there is an N rating for any score reported for a student. And again, there's many reasons why there could be an N rating. And anytime you have an N rating, there needs to be a reason code. All right, so you should be able to see my screen here. So remember I said here, if a teacher puts an N in the enter data, then when they get the data, there's going to be an N. So same thing within the Ready for Kindergarten system. I'm going to go back here to the beginning. I'm already logged in as a data manager. So if I click on administration, it takes me to all of the admin functionality, and I click reports. And from the reports feature, then I want to create a report, and it's the ELA SKB ratings report that I want to click on. Now, from there is where I can access both the SKB report or the LP report. There's a few parameters on here that you have to pick. So you pick the data collection. Depending on your role, you might have both KRA and ELA, but here I'm only selecting early learning assessment. That's all that I have access to. I select a start date. Then my start date, I'm going to click on August 15th. And then my end date, because I was putting in data this morning, I could select the 13th or I could select the 14th, even though tomorrow hasn't happened. But remember, if your teachers have not entered all of their data yet, anything you run today is only going to show what teachers have entered in up to today. If you're giving your teachers until December 1st, then when you come in to work on the 3rd, you might just pick the 3rd. And that's going to pull any data that the teachers have been entering. Okay. You also need to select a location if you're running reports for locations, and then you can request the SKB report for the location. Or if you have a district with multiple locations, you would select that and then SKB. Now remember, the SKB report shows all 72 SKBs. The LP report is the report for the 10 required learning progression that gets reported to EMIS and EAS. So I did the SKB ratings report, and I also did the learning progression report. I can download that report. I had 4 students, and for my 4 students, if I scroll over, remember I said it's all 72 SKBs, I can see that my first student has a lot of ratings for a lot of scores, but I see a lot of blanks. So I would probably want to find out, why do these 2 students have a lot of blanks? But my first student and my 4th student, they've got scores. Okay, and remember, this is the SKB report, so it's not the one that gets submitted to EMIS or EAS. So depending on your locations, you might have to generate more than one report. This is for 2 students that was in a different location. Again, it's the learning progression report. So I see we have some missing scores here. So again, I might look at the SKB report. I might have a conversation with the teacher. I might know that, well, I've given them some more time. So this is not the report that I want to generate. I want to give them some time, let them put their scores in, and then I'll generate the report at a later date.